and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the Everton Stadium update. Now, one thing to note very quickly, so North Stand is still getting worked onto it. It's only minute work at the moment, but in all intents and purposes, so it's meant to be done. It's essentially the roof and everything is sorted out for it, so all they're doing now is just adding a few cross members and everything, and then they should be done with that. However, the South Stand has got a fair way to go still, so apparently it's about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way done, so it's still got a fair bit to be done. There's another layer or two to be added to it, but over the course of the next, probably say 3 to 4 weeks, we're probably going to see more getting added to it, and by, I'm probably going to say about April, we should be all done and dusted. Everything should be ready to go. So as we move across the East Stand, you can see that there's not been too much in terms of an update. As we know, the East Stand is one of the ones that's going to be, you know, one of the last to get sorted out, because as you can probably see in the very bottom of it, they use the East Stand as a access point for trucks, cranes and everything like that, so they need to make that open for the foreseeable. Now, as we pan over right now to the South Stand, one thing to take note of, you probably can see from here, they've got like a little bit of a trench going on in the ground around the South Stand. I don't believe there is one on the North Stand, but we will have a little look at that later on. But as for the South Stand, I believe that is meant to be for plumbing and electrical. Don't quote me on that one. I've just been speaking to someone who was passing by the site and showed them the faucets. He said from what they could see, it was meant to be plumbing and electrical. It's meant to be going in down there. So that's one to look forward to in the future, although in all fairness, we're not going to be seeing too much in terms of the plumbing and electrical. But as the South Stand goes, so we are moving along there quite nicely. You can see that we're at our third layer now. So we've got our main truss, and then we've got the two roof trusses. So air quotes on trusses for that one. This is always one that confuses me, because I always figured that roof truss itself was the very far back piece, and then you're moving across, so you'd have your first one being the furthest one back, then you got your second one, third one, and now fourth one. But apparently no. So you got the main piece at the very back of the stadium, and then you've got the 2 to 3 trusses that are actually coming in further in. But as a whole, South Stand's moving along nicely, and we can see some more brick facading in the way as well. What I am going to have to do though in the future, we have been given the all-go pretty much from Lango, Rake and Everton to pretty much film whenever we want, as long as we respect our distances. So what I'm going to try and do from a far off point, I'm going to try and get something closer to the ground view so we can actually look at the South Stand itself, because if you actually look at some of the Everton videos themselves, there is a sort of like a white boarding that's going across down the bottom. It's one that's caught my eye. I've never noticed it before, but it's definitely one to take note of. I want to try and get a couple of photos or even a video of flying past where there, see what it's looking like. But yeah, in regards to the West Stand though, if you've noticed already, you can see some steel framing across the West Stand there. So what's going to happen is that's pretty much where we're going to be adding some more of the raker beams for the seating. Sorry, mine went blank then. So yeah, so there's going to be some of them getting put into place, and then chances are the cranes are going to be installing some of the concrete raker beams for the seating and everything. So that's one to be keeping an eye out on in the future. Hopefully when they've done the West Stand, the East Stand will get some added to it in the near future, because as we know, it pretty much goes south, north, west, then east. But yeah, now as we move over to the North Stand, as I said, this one is pretty much completed, but what we're going to take a little bit of a notice on is if you look at the very bottom corner where you can see the brick facade, and you can see some framing there. So chances are they're going to be building onto that, so they're going to be adding more to that, and just adding in general to the general structure of the stadium itself. So there's going to be more getting added towards there, and hopefully we're going to probably start seeing the sort of opaque plasticky sort of stuff that you can see actually around the stadium itself. So if you have a quick look at this image here, you can see that the Everton Stadium itself, or Bramley-Moore Stadium, it's got like it almost looks like a opaque plastic that's wrapped around the roof itself. So it's going to be interesting to see at what point we're going to be installing that. I'm assuming that's going to be one of the last pieces, just for the fact that you wouldn't really want to have that in place whilst you've still got a lot of work going on, just because of the risk of damage and everything, as well as just like it'll be getting dirty over the course of time. But as a whole, everything is, as we know, it's coming along nicely. And as I said before, Everton and Langorick have given all the drone flyers their blessing to just operate whenever they want to. So whenever the weather's good, we are allowed to pretty much fly as long as we respect our distances. So stay away from the perimeter of the site. Try and keep a distance. Try not to be distracting any workers on the site and everything. And they've got no quarrels with it. So happy days are there again. So what will happen if I've got freedom to do so, I might try and do like little mini updates every now and then. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Have a great week and peace.